Okay, so I wanted to make this, and I'll try to be as quick as possible to cover two things. First, the draft of our climate action plan is now out, so you can get to it from just a Google search. This is the actual URL here, and you'll just find a bunch of different information that is tabbed up here, some feedback options, previous engagement activities, an interactive map. This is super cool. One area I did want to discuss, and I brought it up to staff, is the idea of I don't love that this is the vast majority of this is anonymous. So whether we make it visible that X number are anonymous and they're from the same source, or we use names like you'll see below in the comment section. I'd like to shore that up because there's the opportunity for people to come in here and spam and overrepresent a specific topic, idea, etc. I think you can see the issue that would present. So there's options or opportunities for improvement here. You'll see these are identities here, and this is a great spot to just stay fresh with. So add it to your bookmarks. What I did is I requested a PDF of this draft, and I took that and I threw it into a tool that I use all the time called NotebookLM from Google. And if you have a Google account, you have access to this tool. So I suggest you just go NotebookLM and drop whatever source you want in there, and I'll kind of walk you through how I use it. So this tool is great. I started working with it probably the beginning of 2023. A little bit of background, Google does a good job with allowing large documents as well as something called needle in a haystack test. So like if there's something specific in a document, you can ask and it's Google does the best at finding it. And so that's important, as well as their ability to do inline citations, incredibly important. And so the way it works is you just click here and you add a source. The first one I added was the actual draft plan, the larger PDF. And then all of these are agenda documents and minute documents. So the intention here is to give myself an overview of the Climate Action Plan draft, as well as some of the recent discussions happening in the Sustainability Commission going back to the end of last year. So the way this tool works is if you want to just select this source, you can. And then when you start asking it questions, whether it's I want a mind map or I want a timeline, briefing doc, etc., it's only going to cover that document. If you want to get them all together and have it synthesized, you just select all of them. And so what I did initially was I uploaded the plan and I created this mind map. This is a new feature. I love this. I'm constantly absorbing, documents for city council, large agenda packets. I'm constantly reviewing technical documentation for tools that I use in my day job. And I love the ability to take dense information and break it out into visual components, and especially these mind maps. It's one thing to create the actual branches themselves, but then to have the feature where it's working right now to bring us to the section of the source document that's related to this content. Incredibly powerful. I suggest you use this as much as you can to get used to it, because this is a really good application of AI. Granted, this is still not perfected. You have to double check everything. So if you're absorbing this information and about to take action on it, whether it's, hey, I'm really excited about this and I want to apply to the Sustainability Commission, make sure that the information that got you excited, if it was one particular thing, is actually accurate. These are really, really impressive as of late. So more often than not, you can lean into it being pulled from somewhere of genuine anchoring empirical information, but you want to double check. I would say double, triple check if it's something that gets you emotionally worked up or where you're getting upset. Sometimes these things can return fragmented text. There's been all kinds of examples of them, what they call hallucinating, and that's where an LLM just kind of goes off. And I say LLM, it's a large language model that's behind this tool that's powering these. So think ChatGPT, Claude, Google's Gemini. Google's Gemini 2.5 actually powers this platform. So I'm getting a little off the rails on the technical stuff. Get back to this more. It's just so helpful, right? And so for anybody who's interested or thinking about joining up, this is a really good place to start because you get a strong sense of where things are and where they're going. And so once you click on this, it's going to go over here and do the work that it was already doing. So we actually have some of these queued up. All right. Oh, and so this is something, I crossed wires here. So I have two notebooks present. You can see one here and one here. They're both working off the same source materials, but one's in English and one's in Spanish. So what I'm learning right now is this setting is a global setting for my account. It's not specific to the notebook. So I need to actually go back to this. And what you'll see here is that up until now, this was in English. And in this section, you will now start seeing all of the outputs are in Spanish, including the audio overview. So this is really a cool feature because it takes the content that you're working from and synthesizes it into like a podcast style audio summary. So check this out. It's kind of cool.
Bienvenidos. Hoy vamos a explorar un poco a fondo qué está pasando con la sostenibilidad en Elgin, Illinois. Vamos a ver el trabajo de la Comisión de Sostenibilidad y también ese borrador del Plan de Acción Climática y Resiliencia. Creo que es información, pues, útil para los residentes, ¿no? Sobre todo si alguien está pensando en involucrarse más, tal vez hasta unirse a la comisión. Nos basamos en actas recientes de la comisión, de sus reuniones y en el borrador del plan. La idea es entender
Okay, so I think that actually, you know what? Let's let it play the
bien qué
Humanity's
hacen y
second voice.
cuál es la estrategia climática de la ciudad. Bueno, empecemos con las actividades.
Se ve variado el enfoque, la reducción de cómo
Lo uso. La idea era dividirla entre la tienda y la ciudad como parte de una ordenanza para reducir las bolsas plásticas.
Claro. Y fíjate, esa discusión sobre las bolsas es un buen ejemplo, ¿no?
Okay, so that gives you a sense of what this tool does. It generates an audio overview or audio summary, whatever you want to call it. Actually, they call it audio overview, and it's formatted in a podcast style with back and forth. It's really cool. And so Google just released the ability to do this in 50 languages, and that was just a few weeks ago. So this is very, very new. This overall tool, NotebookLM, is a couple years old now, but this audio overview is probably 8 months old, if I had to guess, maybe 6. And then they've just added all the additional languages. So that's really cool. What you'll see over here, this is the English version, and they have something called interactive mode. So in addition to getting this audio overview that you can download and listen to on any device anywhere, or you can, if you have access to a browser, you can go back to your Notebook LM and open this audio overview and listen to it while you're on the go. I love this for walks, runs, if I'm stuck in a car for a while. Now I can create custom podcasts basically on topics that are relevant to me, and most of them are Elgin based. So the interactive mode is kind of crazy. So this allows me to interrupt the conversation and ask a question. So let's take a spin.
Even have an online survey that you can share with your own networks.
That kind of outreach is invaluable in making sure the plan truly reflects the community's needs.
Here's where it gets really interesting. They've developed something called engagement in a box.
Yes, these are materials that can be used by anyone to gather feedback.
So even if you're just chatting with neighbors or at a local event, you could use these to help collect input.
It includes things like activities, handouts, and even discussion prompts.
So what does this all mean for you? You can be a vital link in gathering community perspectives.
Beyond that,
Oh, okay. So I don't have time to join the commission or even do engagement in a box. I'm just a resident that wants to contribute towards environmental goals here in Elgin. What's something that's the highest impact thing that I can do to help Elgin's mission?
That's a really insightful question. You're looking for the biggest bang for your buck, so to speak, in terms of environmental impact as an individual.
absolutely. While community engagement is crucial, there are definitely personal actions that can have a significant effect.
Okay, let's unpack this. One thing that comes to mind is related to some volunteer opportunities we saw in the meeting minutes.
Yes, there are mentions of needing volunteers at Hawthorne Hill Nature Center.
They need help with things like outdoor restoration and trail monitoring.
Contributing your time in that way directly supports the preservation of Elgin's natural spaces.
And getting involved in local environmental efforts like that can have a tangible impact.
We also saw that anyone can start a community garden.
Right. Local groups or even individuals aged 18 or older can adopt a garden.
That directly increases green space and can even contribute to local food sources.
You can reach out to Greg Hulk at the city for more information on that.
So while you might not have hours to dedicate, even occasional involvement in these hands-on initiatives can be very impactful for Elgin's environmental goals.
It's all about finding what fits your capacity and passion.
Your desire to contribute is what truly matters.
Thanks for asking such a great question. It highlights that every contribution, big or small, has value.
We appreciate you tuning in and being so engaged with these important topics.
We hope this gives you some ideas on how you can make a real difference right here in Elgin.
Thank you for being such a vital part of our conversation today. Until our next deep dive.
So there you have it. It's kind of crazy, right? But this is where things are going. And so just wanted to come here and give you an overview of this tool, as well as make people aware that the climate action plan has now been released. And yeah, what I do sometimes because, okay, so I'm going to bounce back in this a little bit. Taking all these resources, a lot of times things can get kind of scattered, right? Whether I'm doing it in this notebook or I'm doing it in this notebook, and ultimately I just want one place where people can go. That's where I'll start adding items in over on this page. And so I was hoping, and Google said they were going to do this, they were going to make these embeddable. And so ultimately I could just embed both notebooks on this page, and I hope we get there soon. If anybody from Google is listening to this, please soon. But I can understand why they wouldn't want to. That kind of takes people out of their ecosystem a little bit. And I understand why they would want to keep it in here. But what I can do is say I can download this Spanish version. I've got an English version. And then what I can do is I can create a button and button. And this is just going to open a link. And what I'll do is I'll just upload those downloaded audio overviews to my Google Drive. And then I'll just paste the link in here. And so now I can have a collection of not only the audio overviews, but I can copy and paste out anything from there. Like say I wanted to do this one, I can copy that and I can just go and drop it in here. Paragraph style, I want to make this a little bit bigger, and then I want to collapse it. So there's a million different ways I can add content in here. And so that's what I've done with a variety of these different topics. Pull information in from, say, like this is the water master plan. This is nested information, and we've got information in here not only from the city's commentary from council, the water master plan, but then we also have information from, this was the Army Corps' presentation. So it just is nice because it's not just the city's information, it's we're synthesizing information from different public entities. So I think that about covers it. But yeah, if you have any questions on NotebookLM, how to use it in general, let me know. If you have any questions on this specific information about the climate action plan or some of the happenings in the meetings, let me know. And if you have interest in joining or volunteering to serve on the Sustainability Commission, I'll include a link down below because I believe that's just rolling applications, but I'm going to double check. So thanks for your time and hope you found this helpful.